that the Son Yahweh would appear very small in the eyesight of others. Meaning that I would appear to be a little important. I would not appear to be significant when I made my appearance in Miami and passing the word of Yahweh and declaring, hallelujah. They have laughed at you. Your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, your husband, your wives, your friends, your kinfolk, they have all laughed at you too. They made fun of you. They called you crazy. They said you're cut. You're going to let that man walk your mind. You're going to be brainwashed. You're all in a trick. Oh, but they can't laugh now. They can't laugh at us now. They say the man was going to take our money. Instead, the man has made us rich. It's like a minute fungus. That means that when I begin proclaiming the most holy name, Yahweh, I appeared as a joke. They never heard of any such name. Not to mock Yahweh. 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 Yehu. Yahoo. You go Yahweh, I go Maui.
Verse 42. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Sion.
I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Sion. Sion is another name for what? Israel, Israel, Israel. Go ahead.
A great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and received palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them? What giveth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord.
See that? And commended them for those that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. What is it talking about that we stood stiffly for the name of the Lord? Reuben. Because a nigger will jump up and go, Yahweh!
They'll find out shortly they don't have a way. The only way is Yahweh. They can't laugh at us now. With each passing day, their laughter goes away. Yet in publishing the name Yahweh, the Son Yahweh is characterized as being attentive to tiny details. Exact. I am precise. And I make minute observations, microscopic observations. Yes, I do. I get into the details you never thought of. His appearance is at a specific point in time, which is the end of white rulership. Yeast causes things to terminate. The sun, the kingdom of Yahweh is like leaven because the sun, Yahweh, comes to germinate the kingdom of Yahweh, which shall never be destroyed in Daniel 2:44. Son Yahweh should call this very small and seemingly insignificant people into the kingdom of Yahweh to terminate and multiply in the presence of the sweet word of truth. Cause my people to germinate and multiply in the sweet word of truth. See, you put yeast you got to add a little sugar in with that wine and grape juice. So you got to add a little sugar in there so that yeast will have something to feed on. So what you have to feed on is the sweet word of truth. I terminate. The mystery of the kingdom of heaven being unfolded a little bit. Daniel 2:44 reason. Forever. I'm bringing you something that is forever. Here on this earth, yeast, leaven, is an enzyme. See, if you listen, you think I'm a scientist, that I'm a chemist, what is mathematician, a biologist and a physicist. Huh? You just think I'm being honest with you. That's the way this thing is, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty good term, isn't it? Catalyst, terminating, agitating. Praise Yahweh. Fermenting. Well, leaven, yeast is an enzyme. So how does that apply to me? It applies this way. The Son Yahweh is the enzyme in this meal in you, which agitates the minds of our people, causing a state of excitement. See, if you look at yeast when it meets with that sugar in the grape juice, it gets excited. So when I bring you this knowledge of Yahweh, God is black, the Son is black, the prophets are black. Your name is Israel, and the Old Testament is our history. It agitates the mind, it causes excitement. Without the enzyme, it causes excitement in your mind. It's the germ of truth. It's emotion. It brings itself as Hosea 4:1. Out of the enzyme to make Hosea 4:1 come into existence. Turn to, we're going to read it in a minute. I enter into your mind and I cause unrest. When this yeast meets with this sugar in the grape, everything is at unrest. There is no rest inside that barrel. It says unrest, not at a state of rest. We become restless. I'm the enzyme which causes a tumult. It's all
is entitled, The Messiah Revealed. First, let us get an understanding of the meaning of these words, the Messiah and revealed. In the Webster's Ninth New Collegiate Dictionary, copyright 1989, page 1222, it states that the is used as a function word to indicate that a following noun or noun equivalent is a unique or a particular member of its class. The is also used as a function word to designate one of a class as the best, most typical, or most worth singling out. According to the Random House College Dictionary, Revised Edition, copyright 1988, page 839, the word Messiah is defined as 1. The promised and expected deliverer of the Jewish people. 2. Jesus Christ, regarded by Christians as fulfilling this promise and expectation. The Jewish people, also called Jews, is a euphemism or substitute name for Israel, Hebrews, or Israelites. Jesus Christ is also a euphemism or substitute name for Yahweh ben Yahweh, the Messiah. We realize that these are very bold statements. So, let us give you the facts behind such statements. The Guinness Book of Records, 1993 edition, page 387, states, and I quote, "The newest letters added to the English alphabet are J and V, which are of the post-Shakespearean use about 1630, end quote. If you subtract 1630 from 1998, you will get 368. Therefore, this documents that the letter J is only 368 years old. The chosen people of the God of the Bible are called the children of Israel, Israelites or Hebrews, and they existed thousands of years ago. Therefore, the definition given for the Messiah in reference to the Jewish people or Jews and Jesus Christ are false, considering the fact that the letter J is only 368 years old. Contrary to these facts, Satan has deceived the whole world to believe that Jewish people or Jews and Jesus Christ are the true names for Hebrews and for Yahweh ben Yahweh the Messiah. In essence, by definition, the Messiah is a unique or particular person who is designated as one of a class, as the best, most typical, or most worth singling out. The Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is the promised and expected deliverer of his people, the children of Israel. Who are the children of Israel today? The children of Israel are the seed of Abraham. Genesis chapter 14, verse 13 tells us that Abraham was a Hebrew. According to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, Yahweh told Abraham that his seed would be in bondage in a strange land for 400 years. The only people who have been held in bondage for over 400 years in a strange land are the so-called blacks of America. Thus, the children of Israel are the so-called blacks of America. History shows that we were freed physically in 1865, but mentally we have never been freed because we have never been given back that which was taken from us, the true knowledge of our God, history, culture, language, name, and land. Not having this knowledge has destroyed us spiritually. So, we are the only people in need of restoration and who qualify for deliverance today. Therefore, the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is fulfilling the promise and the expectation of the present-day Messiah, who is the deliverer of the true Hebrew people, the so-called black men of America. The word revealed means to make known something hidden or kept secret, and to expose to view. In this series, The Messiah Revealed, we will be making known and exposing to view that which has been hidden and kept secret about the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh. We will also be showing you that he is the unique and the particular person who has been designated as one of a class and as the best, most typical, or most worth singling out as the Messiah. In addition, we will be showing you that he is the one who was promised and expected to come to deliver his people, Israel, from breaking the laws of Yahweh.
That's right.
Also in this series, we will be bearing witness that the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is here in the flesh as prophesied in 1 John chapter 4, verse 2, which reads, "Hereby know ye the Spirit of God Yahweh. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahweh ben Yahweh is come in the flesh is of God Yahweh." So, as we begin the Messiah Reveal, we want to confess that the Messiah is here on the planet Earth in the flesh and in the person of Yahweh ben Yahweh.
This man with the unclean spirit is you, the so-called black man of America. In the tomb means living among the dead. If your spirit was clean, I wouldn't need to renew the spirit of your mind. You got a tomb-minded spirit. It says you need to become a new man, a new creature. Why? Because you're in the tomb. And the dry bones is the so-called black people of America. And the book says here that these bones shall hear and they shall live. Now we think about bones as somebody physically dead. If there's nothing left on the bone but bones, if there's no flesh on the bones, you would say, what about that person? He is what? Dead. Now we're going to take the Bible and prove that you don't have to die and go in the ground to be dead. Proverbs 21:16. Proverbs 21:16. Read.
The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
So if you don't have understanding, what kind of man are you? A dead man. Dead where? In the mind. Here in Romans 8:7, we see that the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject to the law of Yahweh. They say to each his own. Every man for himself. Individualism. They call it manism. And all that man has come up with has failed. I'm saying that when men are subject to the law of Yahweh, there is perfect peace among them. And not only is there perfect peace among them, there is prosperity and success among us. Without Yahweh, you lust and have not. You have overwhelming desires, overwhelming cravings, overwhelming, you have not. After you get it all, this stuff you thought you wanted, you have not. You have this overwhelming desire for drugs, you get the drugs, but you're not satisfied. If you were satisfied, you would have to go back to get some more. Why do you go back and get more? Because you can't be satisfied in the carnal mind. That's the way of the flesh. The flesh cannot be satisfied permanently. All satisfaction of the flesh is temporary. And if you don't want to turn from your wicked ways, then you just keep your wicked sickness. Yes, sir. You be running to root doctors and they won't do you no good. The root runs out. When you run to a root doctor, you have to have a lot of money. Notice I didn't mention money. I mentioned a mind thing. We're talking about a carnal mind versus a spiritual mind. Now, a carnally minded person is not willing to submit to the will of Yahweh. In order to be healed, you have to come to my healing classes. So I can heal you. There's no question about that. But when you have a cause to your condition, what good is it for me to heal you and you're going to go back and take that which caused it in the first place? This world's knowledge creates mentally lame people, spiritually lame people, crippled people, mentally and spiritually. And the man you've been trusting in, the prince of this world, who is that? Satan is the prince of this world. All that you worship is going to fall as lightning from heaven. When Satan falls, you who depend on Satan going to fall. Oh, yes. That means that the money you worship is going to fall as lightning from heaven. That's how fast what you worship is going to fall. But all of us living in this generation, this shall take place. Doesn't matter what your mother heard about Judgment Day. Judgment Day is when? Now. Judgment of what? This world. I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, who is it? I don't mind telling you, Yahweh and Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. to the fire, the more the love of many is waxing cold. See, some of you, the devil has gotten hold to at different times in your life, and that wasn't enough. And you look so quiet and so innocent, but you don't want to follow rules. Wonderful. There's a beautiful furnace of fire waiting on you. And we're going to see how you sound waiting. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whichever one of you have ears to hear, then hear these words. You have a responsibility for your own salvation.
Will you go away? No. Can persecution take you away? No. Can 10 days in jail take you away? No. Can I be hated take you away? No. Can the slander that we've been reading about take you away? No. That's the question. Are you sure? Yes. They were sure. And we were talking about the past and the present. So what went on then? He said, you too will be sure. Somebody at this day and time will also be sure. One of the things that they wanted Daniel and the Hebrews to do in ancient Babylon was bow to the image that was placed 20 feet high in the city. And all the people had to bow to the image of Nebuchadnezzar, his dream man. And all who refused to bow to the image was to be killed. What did the Hebrew boys do? They refused to bow to the image. They were thrown in the fiery furnace. Now, in order for history to be complete and prophecy to be complete, there's going to have to be an image in modern Babylon. And as the Hebrews refused to bow in ancient Babylon, I believe the Hebrew, I know I am, going to refuse to bow to the modern image. See how Yahweh takes a factual, physical phenomenon of the past to let us know He is real. And it says this same thing is going to happen in the future. But now, on the Hebrew Israelites, but the prophecy of the word says we will overcome. They will make war against the Lamb and the saints, but we will overcome by what? The testimony of our word. In Smyrna, there was a great slander of the Jews. A continuous slander of the Jews. In Smyrna. In Carolina. Was that there was hostility to the church in Smyrna. What is that? Hostility toward our nation.
That the elders were gathered around, and Yahweh let them look down into the future, and they saw our bad condition. They saw us buried. They saw no hope whatsoever, and they began to cry. And then one said, "Fear not, don't worry. There's one. The Lamb will rise up and prevail to open up the book and save them. Don't worry. He'll loose the seven seals. He'll loose the seals of their mind, so they'll remember and be able to look back and say, yes, my eyes saw it. I saw it myself. I was there. Yes, I'm resurrected now. And I'm not going to die no more." Don't you see breaking Yahweh's laws is death? Keeping His laws is life forever. Don't you see it? You are here. You saw that. Now you're a witness. You see this. Don't be afraid of no devil. You just remember what I did to Pharaoh in Egypt. That's what you remember. How to get your memory back. That's what waking up is all about. So you
Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well
So you can remember. Will you two go away? And persecution take you away? And 10 days in jail take you away? Can I be hated take you away? Can the slander that we were reading about take you away? That's the question. Are you sure? They were sure. And we were talking about the past and the present. So what went on then, he said, you too will be sure. Somebody at this day and time will also be sure. One of the things that they wanted Daniel and the Hebrews to do in ancient Babylon was bow to the image that was placed 12 feet high in the city. And all the people had to bow to the image of Nebuchadnezzar, his dream man. And all who refused to bow to the image was to be killed. What did the Hebrew boys do? They refused to bow to the image. They were thrown in the fiery furnace. Now, in order for history to be complete and prophecy to be complete, there's going to have to be an image in modern Babylon.
That's
and
right.
As the Hebrews refused to bow in ancient Babylon, I believe the Hebrew, I know I am, going to refuse to bow to the modern image. See how Yahweh takes a factual, physical phenomenon of the past to let us know he is real. And says this same thing is going to happen in the future. Went down on the Hebrew Israelites. Does not the prophecy of the word say we will overcome? They will make war against the Lamb and the saints, but we will overcome by what? The testimony of our word. Right? In Smyrna, there was a great slander of the Jews. Continuous slander of the Jews in Smyrna. In her language. What's that to us? There was hostility to the church in Smyrna. What is that? Hostility toward our nation. Revelation says that the elders were gathered around. And Yahweh let them look down into the future. And they saw our dead condition. They saw us buried. They saw no hope whatsoever. And they began to cry. And then one said, fear not. Don't worry. There's one. The Lamb will rise up and prevail to open up the book and take them. Don't worry. Don't lose the battlefield. He'll lose the seal of their hands. So they'll remember and be able to look back and say, yes, my eyes saw it. I saw it myself. I was there. Yes, I'm resurrected now. And I'm not going to die no more. Don't you see breaking Yahweh's laws is death? Keeping his laws is life forever. Don't you see it? You're here. You saw it. Now you're aware.
is no devil. You just remember what I did to Pharaoh in Egypt. That's what you remember. How to get your memory back. That's what waking up is all about. So you can remember.
Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord Yahweh thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt.
Hold it. Something has been escaping our attention here. Notice this section refers back to Pharaoh. This was not talking to the children under Pharaoh. See, this is your, in today, telling you, remember? Go back. Go back in your memory and remember. It will do you well to remember. Just looking back on, remember what I did to Pharaoh and Egypt? Look back. See, this is in today telling you, look back. You'll be in bondage again under another nation more powerful than Pharaoh, but look back. Hey, now, can you see this? See, it'll help you rejoice when you can see. We're not reading history. Hey, God. The scripture says you're in the now. Look back at history. Pharaoh and Egypt is history. Look back at what I did in your history. If you believe your eyes saw it, like Yahweh wrote it down and said you saw it, then you bless the Yahweh to believe what he said. Praise Yahweh. He is not a man that he should lie. Yahweh wrote it down in the book. Before you were born, he wrote it down in the book. Before you came to America, he wrote it down in the book. Say you would be brought to this land. Before you were born and brought here, he said you would be brought here. And he said your sentence is 400 years. And after 400 years, he said, I will judge them. I'll be there myself and judge that nation whom you serve. I will be there. I'll be there, Abraham. Don't worry, Abraham. They'll be there, but I'll be there too. The dummies will be looking for a bee or a big wasp. And while they got there, see, the devil is prepared for that. He got all his insecticides and pesticides and tons of poison. He's looking for the bugs to come after him. See? So he has gotten all his scientists together, getting all these poisons together to kill the bugs he's been looking for to come. His religious scientists told him the bugs are coming. So he's got all these tons of exercise and all these planes and things ready to fight the bugs. But he should have been trying to figure out how he was going to keep from being brought down in the dust. He should have been trying to figure out how he was going to keep from being set down on the ground. How to maintain his throne. Huh? Oh, but Yahweh said, I'm going to send the hornets while you got your eye on that. I'm going to bring this great depression in on you. I'm going to discourage you. I'm going to bring you low. You won't be ranked as number one no more. You were number one, but I'm going to lower your rank. Everything I said thus far is in the book. We're talking about Exodus. Are you beginning to get the drift yet? See, until you make up your mind now to leave America, you really can't receive my law. You got to make up your mind now to depart from America to receive my law and enter into our agreement. You really can't understand who I am until you depart from America. Once you leave America, you don't want to look back. You won't look back. Oh, Yahweh. So I put it into you again. Once you leave America, then you're ready to receive the law. And you're ready to enter into a covenant with Yahweh. There, Yahweh.
I'm the one you have to enter the covenant with. Because you can't go see my Father. You have to see me. When you see me, you see my Father. John 14, 9. See, the only way Moses could see was he looked. Then his mind eye opened up. See? Then Yahweh said, now don't draw too close. Don't try to come where I am now. You got to put off your shoes. See, you can't. Don't be trying to come where I am just because I'm raising you up now. Don't get too sassy. Don't get sassy because I'm suddenly letting you see a great sight. Don't get carried away with yourself and your mentality and think that you can become me or something. You stand back. Lest you go running all ahead of me with the dictionary and think you me or something. Don't get carried away. Study, but you got to be under my direction. See, you're still under my control. After I let you see, you're still under my control now. Stand back. So don't get carried away with yourself now. I'm opening up your mind, but don't get thinking you can run on off and do something on your own. This is holy ground where you are. Take your shoes on off. Revelation says that the elders were gathered around. And Yahweh let them look down into the future. And they saw our dead condition. They saw us buried. They saw no hope whatsoever. And they began to cry. And then one said, fear not. Don't worry. There's one. The Lamb will rise up and prevail to open up the book and save them. Don't worry. He'll loose the seven seals. He'll loose the seals of their mind so they'll remember and be able to look back and say, yes, my eyes saw it. I saw it myself. I was there. Yes, I'm resurrected now. And I'm not going to die no more. Don't you see breaking Yahweh's laws is death? Keeping his laws is life forever. Don't you see it? You are here. You saw that. Now you're a witness. You see that. Don't be afraid of no devil. You just remember what I did to Pharaoh in Egypt. That's what you remember. How to get your memory back. That's what waking up is all about. So you can remember.
And there came a time known as the third millennium, a time when the people of the earth were ravaged by disease, pestilence, and poisons, a time when the horsemen of the apocalypse ran multinational corporations, a time when America's citizens were waking up to a future of no money and no jobs, a time when a special man came forward, a man that your American taskmasters did not want you to see or hear, a man whom they took prisoner and hid away, a man whose name is Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. For telling people the truth, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, was taken prisoner by the minions of darkness. For giving people hope, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, was led away to Golgotha. This is the continuing story of the past and of the future, about good and about evil, about your life and what it will become. A story that tells why the so-called black man of America had to suffer for over 400 years. A story of what will happen to the so-called black man if he returns to the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of God, YAHWEH. Olam shall YAHWEH. The universe of YAHWEH. nation of YAHWEH, working for you and your future.
I'm teaching all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father Yahweh, and of the Son Yahweh, and of his holy word, which was God from the beginning. I bless all good people, regardless of their race, creed, or color, in the name of Yahweh, the Creator. And I'm born as a gift to all good people of the planet Earth. I've established the government of Yahweh and the nation of Yahweh. My words are designed to sift the nations and cause the glorious voice of Yahweh to be heard among all the people of the earth. And you can look at world events and see that the time of wicked rule is now fulfilled. And the kingdom of Yahweh is near. See, when the rulership of evil people comes to an end, then another rulership has to take its place. It has to be the opposite. So the good kingdom is coming, and that's the good news that I bring. I have a divine message to America. Yahweh says, let my people go. The government of Yahweh has no end. Of the increase of my government and peace, there shall be no end. My name, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is a sign. Behold, the virgin. Who is the virgin? The virgin is the so-called black man of America. You mean? Yeah. The so-called black man of America is the virgin of the Bible. And you have produced an immaculate conception, the Son of Yahweh. The Immaculate Conception means that you didn't personally design me. You didn't personally call me forth. You can't account for my birth. Yet I'm here as the Son of Yahweh, giving you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding which will move you from a people without mercy to a people with mercy. I moved you from a condition to being the rejected and the despised, to being the accepted and the eulogized and the once held in high esteem. I've come and I'm able to take you from poverty and move you to riches. I'm doing it for all who follow my teachings. I'm doing that. So I am the one from you, and you are the virgin. Now you think of virgin and you have to study these words, but you normally think of virgin as someone who's never had a man. Well, you as a people have never had a man in your midst these 435 years in America. I'm the first man born among you. Praise Yahweh. And when I say man, understand me, I'm not saying male. Once again, you have to learn words. And when you study words, you find out that man means mind. And I'm the first divine mind born among you in your history. The first one. That makes me the first begotten of the dead. Because no school taught me what I'm teaching you. No school taught me to do what I'm doing. I'm the first man born among you that have built something from nothing. I have established the nation of Yahweh without a president and without a teacher. Except to tell you who my teacher is. You can't account for what I'm doing from the teachings of men. That makes me unique. So how did I come to know Yahweh? I'm self-raised. I'm not raised by another man. No other man reached in with the lion's paw and raised me up to make me perpendicular to the square. Yet I'm the only one that has the lion's grip and the master's word. Yet no man has taught me. How can you account for my knowledge? I carry 360 degrees. All that man can raise you is 33. He can't raise you 33. He claims to raise you 32. The other one is honorary. You're not really raised, but I'm not down in that. I'm talking about I have 360. And it can prove it. That means I can try you, but you can't try me. There's no question that you can form in your head that I cannot answer, but I can form questions you've never considered. I've done it all night tonight. So you can't account for me me except that I'm an immaculate conception. Immaculate. I'm the seed of God. I'm the seed of the Father. That's why I'm self-realized, self-taught, self-raised. I'm self-proclaimed. And when white people write about me, they will say in their writing, Yahweh ben Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God. They know who I am. They don't deny it.
Good morning. Welcome again to Newswatch. I'm Michael Putney. The Yahwehs, are they a dangerous racist cult or a genuine religion deserving of every constitutional protection? Our community has been asking that question in recent months. This morning, we're going to ask the group's founder and leader, Moses Israel, Yahweh ben Yahweh. He was born 52 years ago in Enid, Oklahoma, and raised in the fundamentalist Pentecostal church. Under the name Hulan Mitchell, he holds a master's degree in economics from Atlanta University. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you all for coming. Yahweh ben Yahweh, you have been asked numerous times in recent years to submit to interviews, so let me begin by saying we're glad you're here, but we're a little surprised. Why did you agree to this interview?
First, I'd like to say that this is an exciting opportunity to present our views to the public, which have been misunderstood. And we would like to thank Channel 4 for this opportunity to express the truth. Our attorney, Ellis Rubin, suggested to us that we become open to allow the press, the community at large, to understand exactly what we're about. It's a known fact that what people don't know about and that seems to be shrouded in secrecy, they fear. So to erase some of those fears, we're here to let the broader community know exactly who we are.
All right. Ignorance breeds fear, suspicion, misunderstandings. So you're here to clear up some of those misunderstandings. What, in your view, is probably some of the greatest misunderstandings? Are you a dangerous racist cult? Do you hate white people?
All right, that has been one of the general accusations. No, that's not the situation. What we are in opposition to is oppression and immorality. I teach and have taught from the beginning that the devil, Lucifer, was black. As a result, that part of my teaching is not printed or published or talked about. I teach that the devil is in all colors, black, brown, red, yellow, and white. And since we are brought to America as slaves in this country, and since we have been oppressed by white people in this country, it is those that are white that are oppressing us that are immoral. That's the issue. My teachings basically include morality versus immorality, as opposed to racial hatred. If you are familiar with this area, you will notice that the only real problems we've ever had in this community are from people who came among us who were black, whose skin color is black. And they're the ones who have gone out into the public and spread false rumors and false teachings about us.
All right, let me broaden this discussion now and bring in my friend and colleague Ed Odell. Ed?
Yet, Yahweh ben Yahweh, your early pamphlets, the early things that you passed around Liberty City, where I happen to live, spoke only to the white devil, that person of that color who seemed to be doing wrong against black people. I know that you have spoken against some black people as they have abused the black race, but those early pamphlets, those early etchings that we saw on the walls out in Liberty City spoke of the white devil. Don't you think that's where that misconception, as you call it, came from?
That's entirely possible, because the issue of black and white and the skin color game is not something that I invented or created. It's something that exists in this country, and I've had to address it. For example, there's an issue here that I think most of the people may be aware of. Here is an image that is a false image. And of course, my coming to America to reach and resurrect my people is to dispel this notion of a false image of the Son of God. It's quite apparent that my color...
The false image is the color. Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly. By this color being promoted as the Son of God and being a false image, then this causes my people to have the notion that white people are supreme, they're superior, they're God, and they have a tendency to worship them as God. And I'm here to dispel that notion.
Yet hasn't the call against that color, against the white color, hasn't that been the call that has brought most of your people, especially in the early days, into the Yahweh faith?
It was necessary. When you come to a mentally and spiritually dead people who have been robbed of the knowledge of their God, history, culture, language, name, land, it requires a great deal of dexterity to reach into the grave of such people and resurrect them and lift them up. No one has ever been able to do this but me.
You are speaking, if I may say so, as if you are the Messiah. Do you believe that you are the Son of God?
I am, in fact, Yahweh ben Yahweh in Hebrew. That means God, the Son of God in the flesh. I am the Messiah that the whole world is looking for.
When did you discover that you are a divine creature then?
I've always known that I'm a divine creature. I've known since the age of 3. My demonstrations from age 3 was centered around deliverance. Moses in Pharaoh in Egypt. So I've always known that I'm divine.
Anything before Yahweh, and there can never be anything after Yahweh. Yahweh is the great, good, and terrible black creator. The supreme, ever living. He is life. My Father, Yahweh, is so incredible that he put life in me.
America, I plead with you to let my people go. Divine justice requires you to deal wisely with my people, lest it come to pass when there comes a war and they join on to your enemies and fight against you. So let my people return to their king, Yahweh. America, you're holding my people in poverty after 435 years of physical, mental, and spiritual slavery. America, you have set over my people tough taskmasters to afflict them with terrible burdens. We have built the great cities of America, our free slave labor, of which we have never been paid. We worked 310 long years, free from sun up to sundown, 12 hours a day, never been paid. They paid the Japanese just for taking them and putting them in prison for, 2 or 3 years. We've never been paid. How many think it's time for us to get paid? Yeah. And for you that didn't raise your hand, I'm going to take your part. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It won't do you any good to get it as individualists. You have been our teachers for 435 years, and you are now grieved because of your product. You continue to make the lives of my people bitter with hard bondage in America. And in all manner of service and in all fields of work, my people suffer prejudice on their jobs. They suffer discrimination on their jobs, and they suffer hatred on their jobs. How many of you have been going through that kind of thing, and you've seen our people going through it? America, you have used your science to destroy and murder all of our unborn children through abortion and evil birth control methods. But again, Yahweh's outsmarted you by having babies have babies. Keep our people alive in America. Remember, America, that our mothers fear God. Our people are fruitful and have increased abundantly, multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and America is filled with my people, 60 million strong. America, you have planned in secret to overrun our community with drugs, and now hold over 1 million of our sons in your prisons who fell for your trap, all between the ages of 17 and 25. After you fail to provide jobs for millions more of our sons besides the one you have in jail, the only economy you provide is for them to sell your drugs in order to live. And then you bust our sons who fall for your traps, while your rich distributors with their planes and boats go free. America, let my people go. America, in addition to the poverty of my people, you have over 15 million unemployed people living in poverty in this great land of opportunity. And taxes are killing the great businessmen of this country. America, Yahweh has raised me up to move the world from poverty to riches and to peace eternally. And to my people in America, Yahweh, great I am, the God of your fathers, has sent me to you first, to raise you from the bottom to the top, from poverty to riches. I am sent me unto you. The Lord Yahweh, God of fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. And Yahweh is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Yahweh, the God of your fathers, is here in your midst and sees everything that is being done to you here in America. And I will bring you up out of America, out of poverty to great riches. America, Yahweh, the God of the so-called black man of America, has met with us. And now we urgently appeal to you. Let my people come to me without hindrance. And if the government of America will not let you come to me, then Yahweh will stretch out his hand mightily and smite America with all the wonders which you are beginning to see in her midst now. For you who want to know about the war impending in the Middle East, it is also known as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the War of Armageddon. America, I am pleading the cause of the poor and the needy. America, you still have time to learn to do well, just as the people of Nineveh had the opportunity to change from their wicked ways to righteousness and were saved. Nations, and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, called the Middle East today, and we'll plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, the so-called black people, who are the tribes of Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. America, if you fail to heed my words and let my people go, you will suffer a great plague, besides the plagues you're already suffering day by day. And this shall be the plague that Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against the so-called black man of America throughout your history.
Shalom alaikum, my brother. Well, elder.
Every nation
Praise
that has
Yahweh.
ever fought against you, wherever you were on the planet Earth. Those who've done it, their flesh shall consume away while they stand up on their feet. And their eyes shall consume out of their sockets while they still standing on their feet. and their tongue shall consume away out of their mouth while they're still standing on their feet before their skeleton can fall to the ground. President to do it. Didn't know how we conclusion, America's for sale. I've just spoken prophecy. I've just spoken the word of Yahweh. You who well read know I just spoke the word of Yahweh. And it touches your heart. Sounds like somebody like Moses had to come here. Let's look at verse 18. Read.
I will raise them a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Read the next verse.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak
how?
In my name.
Check out how this man that's coming just like Moses, check out in whose name he is going to speak. Not his own name, but in the Creator's name. Woo, isn't this a heavy? I need to highlight my Bible. I have it underlined, but I need to highlight that. He will speak in my name. In whose name am I speaking? Can't deny it. May upset you, but you can't deny it. You know, the truth is a mighty sword. It's a two-edged sword. It cuts going and coming. It'll make you jump, cut, and run when you don't have to go anywhere. It will. It'll get after you. It'll burn your brain. It heats you up. It will. It will. I just have to tell you like it is. I'm speaking in his name. And no one since Moses is calling and teaching the name Yahweh to a people that need deliverance. But me. But any preacher, any prophet, which shall presume to speak a word in my name. Now see, can you imagine me reading this scripture? Knowing that Yahweh is God and see these consequences and be presumptuous? I wouldn't have the nerve to be presumptuous, not knowing this consequence right here. I mean, check out this. Anybody that presume to speak to niggas in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that preacher, that prophet, shall die. Now let's see if I'm right or wrong. Put it in an envelope, seal it up, and watch the fate of every leader on the earth that speak to my people in a name other than Yahweh, and see if they don't die. Let's see. See, sometimes we have to come on back, reach on back to the foundation. It's sometimes we forget our foundation. And I have to bring you back, take you back to the place where you first believed. Now, it's only a man that believes in self-destruction read this scripture and then continue to teach a name other than Yahweh, or be self-willed and presumptuous. I mean, can you imagine me presuming to speak in Yahweh, man? Something he didn't command me to tell. Well, I mean, that's insane. Anybody to do that? So I'm one of two things. Insane, or I'm the one. And my works testify of me. And I'm warning anybody else that has nerve to be presumptuous. Boy, these are some serious consequences. Huh? I said serious. You don't need me to explain how serious that is. Every leader you know in America that's teaching you, my people, the name of a God other than shall. I don't care how many they shall die. I don't care how many people attend their services and their meetings, they shall die. Why? Y'all Yahweh of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are people, a peculiar people, a royal priesthood. Is that 1 Peter? 1 Peter 2. Read it.
But ye are a chosen, a royal priesthood, a holy nation.
And holy what? You're a nation. You're not Negroes. You're a nation. You're not colored. You're holy people. People. You are a royal priesthood. That's who you are. You're not a drug dealer. You're not a prostitute. You're not a thief and a robber. You are a royal priesthood. That's who you are. You are not just a nation, but a holy nation. That's why black men of America and all people that believe in the name Yahweh are the ones who become a part of our nation. I don't care what somebody told you that you are. You love Yahweh, you're part of our nation. Come and tell the black men of America who you are. That reminds me of this. Who that has 100 sheep and one of them is lost? Will he not land and go and search after the one that is lost? And when he finds the one that is lost, will he not rejoice? So of all the nations, of the 100 nations on this earth that belong to me, of the 100 nationalities that are mine, one is lost. It's not that I don't love the 99. They are safe in the knowledge of who they are. They're safe in the knowledge of their history and culture and language and name and land. They're safe in that knowledge. But there's a sheep that I have
that is lost from all of this. And before I can rejoice, I have to leave the 99 alone in the safety of themselves and go after the one that doesn't know who he is. I have to go after the one that doesn't know his mama. I have to go after the one that doesn't know his nationality. I have to go after the one that doesn't know his history. I have to go after the lost sheep that doesn't know his language. I have to go after the lost sheep that does not know his name, his place, his destiny.
And there came a time known as the third millennium, a time when the people of the earth were ravaged by disease, pestilence, and poisons. A time when the horsemen of the apocalypse ran the multinational corporations. A time when America's citizens were waking up to a future of no money and no jobs. A time when a special man came forward, a man that your American taskmasters did not want you to see or hear, a man whom they took prisoner and hid away, a man whose name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. For telling people the truth, Yahweh ben Yahweh was taken prisoner by the minions of darkness. For giving people hope, Yahweh ben Yahweh was led away to Golgotha. This is the continuing story of the past and of the future, about good and about evil, about life and what it will be. A story that tells why the so-called black man of America had to suffer for over 400 years. A story of what will happen to the so-called black man if he returns to the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of God, YAHWEH. Olam shall YAHWEH. The universe of YAHWEH. Brought to you by the nation of YAHWEH. Working for you and your future.
For 6,000 years, we have been suffering at the hands of rulers who transgress the laws of YAHWEH and teach all people throughout the earth to transgress the laws of YAHWEH. In order to have peace, love, and harmony upon the earth, we must return to keeping the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of YAHWEH. All of us have been taught that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do not count today. In this series, we will show you that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do count, and that if we govern our lives according to these commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of God YAHWEH, then we will have peace and goodwill upon the earth forever. We invite you to study along with us. However, in order to do so, you must have the following tools: a King James Version of the Bible, several dictionaries, the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, a set of encyclopedias, Hebrew and Greek lexicons, a thesaurus, and a synonym finder.
Shalom. My name is Sarah Abigail Yisrael. We are discussing the commandments of Yahweh. Many people have been taught that the first commandments ever given to man were given to Moses. The truth of the matter is, the first two commandments ever given to man were given to Adam in the Garden of Eden, which were to dress it and to keep it. We are still discussing the word keep. In Hebrew, the word keep is shamar, and one of its meanings is to be on the lookout for, or to be expectant of, the future birth of a child. We have been revealing some of the things the Bible said would happen to this one child, the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, that would clearly identify him as the one promised to come to deliver or restore us, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the so-called black man of America, who are descendants of slaves to the promised land. Before we begin our discussion today, let us review some of the key issues we have discussed to set the stage for our show. Revelation chapter 12 verse 9 says that Satan and his angels were cast out into the earth and have deceived the whole world. In Job chapter 1 verse 7, Yahweh asked Satan, "Whence comest thou?" And Satan himself answered and said, "From going to and fro, and from walking up and down in the earth." We told you that the people who have been going to and fro and walking up and down in the earth using the sign of the cross are called Jesuits today. We validated that Jesuits are members of the Society of Jesus, who have been commissioned by the Pope, the supreme head of the Christian Church, to deceive the whole world with a crafty plan of action to spread the beliefs, doctrines, and rituals of the Christian Church. While maneuvering in a secret atmosphere of duplicity, they give the impression that they come to do good and to speak the truth, but irrefutable facts prove that their mission is to do evil and to speak lies. Given the fact that the letter J is only 371 years old, no one could possibly have walked the earth 2,000 years ago with the name Jesus. However, Jesuit scholars have purposely written stories about a false, made-up character called Jesus in the past tense to make the people believe that he came 2,000 years ago. With the permission of the Pope, Jesuits have been going to and fro and walking up and down in the earth, depicting the birth, crucifixion, persecution, death, and resurrection of Jesus as events that happened in the past, when the facts prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these events never happened. These are prophecies that are being fulfilled today in Yahweh ben Yahweh, the true Messiah, prophesied to come in the Old Testament. Knowing that the New Testament was never fulfilled by anyone called Jesus, and understanding that we are witnessing prophecy being fulfilled today, we shall begin to decode the prophecy that the prophets said would happen to the true Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, in Matthew chapter 27, verses 62 and 64, and its related scriptures. Now, before we begin to decode these verses, let us give you a recap of Show 249. In Show 249, we analyzed Matthew chapter 27, verses 62 and 64 from a literal perspective. And we pointed out the fact that the chief priests and Pharisees came together unto Pilate, a judge. The word together, we told you, suggests that they shared the same common concerns about what they wanted Pilate to do to Yahweh ben Yahweh. They wanted Pilate to command or make sure that Yahweh ben Yahweh remained in the tomb, which symbolizes prison, until the third day, meaning until Yahweh ben Yahweh served the maximum time of his 18-year prison sentence. we validated that the word command is synonymous to mandamus. The definitions of mandamus and writ laid the foundation for our next revelation. These two words revealed that the issue was a legal matter, one that involved a prisoner, a judge, lawyers, and parole commission authorities. To prove that this is a prophecy being fulfilled today in the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, let us begin to decode Matthew chapter 27, verse 64, which reads in part, "Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the third day." To get an understanding of what this scripture means, we must do a direct examination of all its intricate parts. So first, command therefore. According to the Oxford Study Dictionary, copyright 1991, on page 134, command is also defined as a statement given with authority that some action must be performed. Stated in the Synonym Finder by J.I. Rodale, copyright 1979, on page 1161, statement is equivalent to proclamation. On page 939, proclamation means the same as ruling. As referenced in Black's Law Dictionary, abridged 7th edition, copyright 2000, on page 1071, ruling is described as the outcome of a court's decision on some point of law. So, based upon these facts, we can conclude that the legal matter involved the outcome of a superior court judge's decision on some point of law requiring that some action must be performed by the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh. In the Synonym Finder by J.I. Rodale, the second word, therefore, on page 1227 is synonymous to as a result. Referenced in Webster's New Collegiate Dictionary, copyright 1959, on page 723, results is defined as something obtained by calculation. Calculation is synonymous to computation. On page 170, computation means a system of reckoning. And on page 706, reckon, the root of reckoning, is defined as to count. Question: what did Yahweh ben Yahweh obtain as a result of using a system of counting while in prison? Before we answer this question about the relevance of a system of counting, let us first give you a little background information concerning the incarceration of Yahweh ben Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh received an 18-year prison term under the Federal Bureau of Prisons' old law. The old law states that he had to serve 2/3 of his sentence behind bars, provided that he did not commit any infractions that would cause him to stay longer. Although the Federal Bureau of Prison guidelines state that only persons serving a 25-year sentence or more be housed at Lewisburg Penitentiary, this is where the United States Justice Department's high-ranking officials sent Yahweh ben Yahweh, who was only sentenced to 18 years. Lewisburg Penitentiary is located in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, which is over 1,200 miles from his disciples in Miami, Florida. Then after serving 6 years in Lewisburg without incident, Yahweh ben Yahweh was transferred to Raybrook Correctional Institute in Raybrook, New York, which is even farther away. In fact, 1,500 miles away. The purpose for sending Yahweh ben Yahweh out of the southern district to the northeast district was to ensure that he would have little or no contact with his disciples. So back to our question. What did Yahweh ben Yahweh obtain as a result of using a system of counting while in prison? The answer is, while in these institutions, Yahweh ben Yahweh earned statutory and extra good time credits, which were based upon the Federal Bureau of Prisons' systematic counting system. After serving 2/3 of his 18-year sentence in prison with no infractions, on September 25, 2001, Yahweh ben Yahweh received a mandatory release from prison and returned to Miami to serve the remaining 1/3 of his prison sentence on parole. Now, since all these matters were handled properly and legally according to the United States Justice Department and Federal Bureau of Prisons guidelines, then why were the chief priests and Pharisees still not satisfied with the mandatory release of Yahweh ben Yahweh? Why did the chief priests and Pharisees come together to Pilate, a superior court judge, begging him to make a decision that some action be performed by Yahweh ben Yahweh that would make his sepulchre sure until the 3rd day, meaning until he served the last 1/3 of his 18-year prison sentence? The documented facts will show beyond a reasonable doubt that it was for the very same purpose that he was sent to prisons far away from his district. So he, Yahweh ben Yahweh, could have absolutely no contact with his disciples. The facts to prove our conclusion are hidden in the word sepulcher. So next week, we will provide compelling testimony to prove our points of view beyond a reasonable doubt as we continue to decode Matthew chapter 27, verse 64, and resume our course of singling out the family of Adam from the perspective of the word watch and its relationship to keep. I bear witness to you today that the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Mahdi is here.
I bear witness to you today that Shiloh is here. I bear witness to you today that the great light is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, Architect of the universe, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Enlightened One is here.
I bear witness to you today that the one all religions have been seen of for almost 6,000 years is here.
Thank you for listening, and join us next week as we continue our discussion of the commandments of Yahweh.
In 1979, Yahweh ben Yahweh came to Miami and became the spiritual leader and founder of the Nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty, in 7 years he guided the nation to amass a $250 million empire. Under his direction, the Nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, and supporters in over 1,300 cities within the U.S. and 16 foreign countries. Yahweh ben Yahweh is bringing about changes in the lives of individuals and is giving the world the keys to success in life, politically, economically, educationally, socially, and spiritually.
This
You thought the chosen people of God, Israel, were white folks. That's why black people are being ruled all over the earth, because the ruler, the one that's chosen to rule, is not in his rightful place. The so-called black man of America is chosen to be the ruler forever as the tribe of Judah. First Chronicles 28:4. This is to set your mind free. Read.
Howbeit, the Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever. For he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah, the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, like me, to make me king over all Israel.
Looking and listening to the king over all Israel. And my word is not on the back of somebody else. I am not come trying to rule or something that somebody else said. Organized, called, put together. No, I have carved the nation Israel out of the dead. All by myself. Just as I stretch forth the heavens all by myself. I'm stretching for the heavens in your mind, all by myself, without a helper, and no man can pluck you out of my hand. Your body can be in here, but if someone plucks you, you will never mind. No one can pluck you out of my hand. I don't care what happens. You belong to me, and I belong to you. You belong to me. Judah is chosen to be the ruler. Jeremiah 14:2. Let's look at the color of Judah. Read.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the dawn.
See, Judah is black. The one chosen to be the ruler is black. Why is Judah not ruling? Look at Jeremiah 13:19. Read.
The cities of the south shall be shut up, and none shall open them. Judah shall be carried away captive. All of it shall wholly carry away.
Any time for Judah is carried away. See? And the reason that we're in the condition that we're in today, and the way out of that condition, back to restoration as the nation of Israel, the tribe of Judah. Of course, our condition as a people has come about due to disobedience to the laws of our God, Yahweh. And of course, that included being in slavery in this country. Historically, this is not the first time that we have been in slavery or bondage. In every instance that we disobeyed the will of Yahweh, we were punished, and we were reduced to states of slavery and bondage on many occasions. That included Egypt as well as Babylon, and under many different rulers and countries. So in this particular instance, it so happens that America is the latest. And once again, it's not that white people were so powerful or whatever to bring us into slavery. It's just that this is the will of Yahweh, God, for breaking his laws. It was set to fulfill the prophecy spoken of in Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 and 14, wherein Yahweh spoke to our father Abraham, saying that we would be in this condition in America, that we would be afflicted in this country, and after the 400 period, that I would come to resurrect them and establish them, reform them first, and deliver them from this condition. Speaking of being delivered from the country, that could be spiritually as well as physically. This is the general scenario of what has happened. Of course, the scriptures also spoke of a resurrection, a general resurrection. And Yahweh taught me that this resurrection is also spiritual. That the so-called black people of America are the only people on earth that have been totally healed spiritually and mentally. Psalms chapter 83, verses 1 through 5, eloquently states our case of being cut off as a nation, that there were many nations that conspired together, that were confederate together, to cut us off from being the nation Israel, name Israel, and our God would no more be remembered. And of course, once this happened, once we were reduced away from our knowledge, then we died mentally and spiritually. So the resurrection spoken of scripturally has nothing to do with cadavers coming out of a 6-foot physical cemetery. Rather, it's our people who are lost from our God and history and culture who has to be.
It's a shame they be doing all them breakdowns, but when it comes to Yahweh,
and so this is the general
breaking this truth down,
and the world knows
sometimes it be dancing.
Will know by my work of resurrecting the so-called black people of America that I am indeed the Messiah, the promised one from the Old Testament.
So-called captain didn't even know Judah.
As well as Revelation. No one fulfilled the prophecy of Moses through Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 18 through 20, wherein Yahweh said one would be raised up like Moses, like unto Moses, meaning that Moses was a type. I am the antitype. He was a foretype, meaning a foreshadow of one to come. No one 1900 years ago accomplished this work prophesied in Deuteronomy 18:18. It would presuppose that a people would be in the same need of deliverance when the Savior, the Messiah, the Redeemer, the Reformer comes, that was needed in the day of Moses. I'm the only one who comes to a people in a similar condition, only a much worse condition. For in the days of Moses and Pharaoh, Israel knew they were Israel, but it stated that they did not know their God. So today it's worse. We don't know our God as people until my coming. Our history, our culture, our language, our name, or our language.
Now, you know when you got Time Life magazine interviewing you,
if we had remembered, we would have had occasion in the past to have returned. Our brothers around the earth who study in secret have a allegorical story of Hiram. In the story of King Solomon, of Hiram, who was the architect, one of the great architects of the building of the temple, the physical. And so there were some friends who wanted some knowledge, and they hit him in the head, and he was buried in a shallow grave in the west. And there were those who sought to find him, and when they did, they attempted to take his body out of the grave and return it to the east. And of course, his body, the flesh, would fall away from their hands, and they weren't able to do so. So they had to go back to the master, who was referred to as Solomon. And Solomon himself had to come. And he was able to raise Hiram from his grave and take him back to the east. That, too, is an allegory and a type referring to me. There have been many, many leaders, so-called black leaders, who have come to this country or have been born in this country, who have attempted to raise our people, and they have all failed. They have all fallen back into their mental grave of ignorance or destruction or division until I have come. So I've been able to exercise the lion's paw, reach into the grave of my people, raise them, resurrect them, restore them, and now the world has to say, we're looking at the dead and now they live. And that's my work. So anything prior to that is of no consequence at all. For no one was interested in talking to me in anything that I did prior to Yahweh. So Yahweh is indeed the subject and is the occasion for all that is taking place. The situation of one of our brothers or members being caught up in a situation of murder or whatever, allegedly.
Allegedly.
He's not the real target because people are killing each other all across America all day long, all across the earth. And when Catholics kill, no one goes to interview the Pope about a Catholic being killed. Or when a Baptist kills someone, they don't go to the Baptist church or to the preacher and ask any questions of him. The same for all the religions. A case like Iran is fighting Iraq or fighting Iran, and they're not really interested in those stories as, in this sense, it is Yahweh ben Yahweh. So that's the real meat of what it is today.
Could we ask you a couple of practical questions in your day-to-day operation? How do you finance your operation here? I mean, you do quite a few things with the grocery store and so forth. Do you depend entirely on contributions?
I depend entirely on Yahweh, my Father Yahweh, in whose name I come. My people, generally, in their profane state, are very shiftless, standing on corners, burglarizing, stealing, lying, cheating, doing all of those things which are detriment to America or any civilized country for that matter.
All right, let us turn to Acts 2:21. Why is Yahweh's name important? Acts chapter 2, verse 21.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord Yahweh shall be saved.
If you don't know his name, you can't call him. That's why the white man hid the name Yahweh from us. Why? So we could not be saved from him. Then he gave us false religion and told us to come down front and lay around some kind of altar, you can get saved. And call that false name. You know false name, right? You had Capulian fit, right? And didn't save you from nobody. Did it save you? I don't can look at me wild-eyed, don't you who do. Truth is a life. You were not saved. You never got saved. And they told you if you believe on a false name, all you have to do is be on that Christian name and you will be saved. But then, if you don't know the name of the Lord Yahweh, you can't be saved. Now your first job when you're new, and those of you that are new tonight, is to go home and fill the dictionary out. If you don't have a dictionary at home, go to your local library. Turn to the part of the book that has Y. And then you look up YAHWEH in any dictionary in America and get the shock of your life. Now the Bible is all about Israel. What we didn't know Israel was it. But the Bible is all about Israel. And guess what the dictionary says? Yahweh is the name of the God of Israel. How many looked that up in your own dictionary for yourself? Praise Yahweh. All right, we
I spent a lot of time on that. You're not invited for nothing. You didn't come here for nothing. Praise Yahweh. Encyclopedia says the same thing, my new brothers and sisters who are visiting. Your encyclopedias, look up the word Yahweh. It's the shock of your life. It's the name of God. No other name is the name of God. I don't care what they say, how it is. Yahweh is the name. Then you go to your library and look up in a Bible dictionary. They call it a Bible dictionary. Guess what you'll find under Y again? Yahweh. You'll find more Yahweh than you ever knew existed. So you do your own research now, you that are new, and get the shock of your life, find out that Yahweh is the name of God. So, when we read this verse, Acts chapter 2, verse 21, says, and it shall come to pass. That meant it wasn't going on when this was written. But somewhere down in the future, it shall come to pass. That whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord Yahweh shall be saved. That's why
shall be saved.
Salvation.
Welcome to Expedition Bible. My name is Joel Kramer. I'm sure that many of you know that the name of the God of Israel is Yahweh. The name Yahweh is mentioned in the Old Testament 6,823 times. And it's been found several times in inscriptions through archaeology. But today I want to talk about the oldest Yahweh inscription that's ever been found. I first learned about this inscription when I was reading a book by a well-known Egyptologist named Donald Redford, and he was writing about a site called Soleb, which is today located in the country of Sudan, but in ancient times it was part of the Kingdom of Egypt. And here the pharaoh Amenhotep III built a temple and made a list of his foreign enemies. And the name of his book is Egypt, Canaan, Israel in Ancient Times. And so he was discussing these inscriptions when he wrote. For half a century, it has been generally admitted that we have here the name of the Israelite God, Yahweh. And if this be the case, as it undoubtedly is, the passage constitutes a most precious indication of the whereabouts during the late 15th century BC of the enclave revering this God. I was shocked. You mean to tell me that there's an inscription mentioning Yahweh that dates to the end of the 15th century BC?
That's right.
That's amazing. So I went to the library. I found the Soleb excavation report. This site was excavated in the 1950s, and there was the temple, and there was the inscription and the translation of the inscription. The inscription is written in Egyptian hieroglyphics. The first hieroglyph is the hieroglyph land. The next three hieroglyphs sound out the word
the whole time,
which is translated nomads, land of the nomads. And then the last four hieroglyphs sound out a name. The first hieroglyph is the Y sound. Then the house hieroglyph is the H. The noose is the W. And the bird is the A, the way. So together in the excavation report, they translate this name as Yahweh, land of the nomads of Yahweh. This I had to go see for myself. So I traveled to Sudan. I rented a four-wheel drive and a driver, crossed the Nile River on a local ferry, and spent the next 3 days driving on and off-road, camping in the desert, all to get to this temple and all to see this inscription.
The elders say they may have even more, but keep it a secret. Showed up right about that. That's one thing they learn how to do is keep a lot of stuff a secret. Deuteronomy 30:30 say the secret things. Deuteronomy 29:29 say the secret things belong to Yahweh and His servants. What they keep in a secret. We're gonna start bringing that Yahweh pressure on them, though. We're gonna bring that Yahweh pressure to
I'm
one
here
west.
at the Temple of Solom. I've traveled all the way to Sudan to come to this temple. This temple was built by Amenhotep III, and you can see these inscriptions that are covering these pillars. Let me find a really good one here. These are the ones that Amenhotep III is bragging about defeating. This man with his arms bound behind him, and then the name of that people, where they're from, and many place names, all in the same style. The one that I came all the way to see isn't as in good a shape as that one, but it's the most significant, in my opinion, of them, and it's on this pillar right here on the back side. It's right here. I've come a very long way to see this inscription, which from the Egyptian hieroglyphics reads, "Land of the nomads of Yahweh." It dates to the end of the 15th century BC. It's over 3,400 years old, and that makes it the oldest mention in an inscription of the name of the God of Israel. Here we have a perfect example of something that was found through archaeology, correlating perfectly what we read in our Bibles. In this case, according to biblical chronology, the Bible says that the Israelites are wandering in the wilderness for 40 years at the latter half of the 15th century BC. Here we have an inscription from the Egyptian pharaoh Amenhotep III that dates to the end of the 15th century BC. The Bible describes the wandering Israelites, the nomadic Israelites, as moving around with their God Yahweh, who is with them by day in a cloud, at night in a pillar of fire. And what better way for the Egyptian pharaoh Amenhotep III to describe this people than the way that he does right here, nomads of Yahweh.
Shalom Aleichem, my family. We got all this proof. Archaeological facts. And they still want to act like they don't know his name, Yahweh. We ain't gonna let up. No, we ain't letting up. I'm gonna get into some of this stuff here. Because Yahweh been teaching this stuff.
I'm totally.
And this the subject.
Able to process what you're. There's a lot of countries that are now countries that this particular area that we're talking about now, Israel, is land that God gave to Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. Yeah. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all. The entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total. And 8 million of them live here. The rest live mostly in New York or South Florida and a few other places.
Okay.
So this is a small population of people. They have connection to this land historically, biblically.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
If Bibi's family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe. There's no evidence they ever lived here. He's not religious.
But
in what sense?
How do we know
that? Do you have his family tree? No, we don't.
Do you?
He doesn't. So no one does. That's the point. So how do we know that he has any connection to this land at all?
And if there has been a practice of Judaism and a connection to the language, the Bible, the land.
His ancestors didn't. He doesn't practice Judaism in any rigorous way. His ancestors didn't live here. They didn't speak the language, and there's no evidence they ever lived here. So on what basis does he have a right to be here?
With Israel, we got it.
He has fought for the land. His family has fought for the land.
Dodging a very obvious question, which is, where does this right come from? And the reason it's meaningful is because there are a lot of people in the territory that Israel controls today, particularly in the West Bank, who, through genetic testing, we can know their families have been here for thousands of years. We don't know whether they practiced Judaism, whether they were Samaritans, pre-Islam. We don't know that. A lot of them we know have been Christians for 2,000 years. They have less of a right to the land than someone whose ancestors, the only thing we know about them is they lived in Latvia or Poland. They're Eastern European. How does that work?
Poland.
They're Jewish.
By what definition?
German.
They're Jewish by their
But how do we know they have any connection
They're
to
Jewish
the
by
Jews
their
of the,
faith. They're
of the
Jewish
Bible?
by the connection to the language. Jewish by the connection to the Torah.
He backpedaling that.
But how do we know that Bibi, specifically Bibi's ancestors, ever lived here? How do we know that?
I'm not sure if I understand your question.
How do we know if the Prime Minister of Israel's ancestors ever lived?
Maybe I could ask you, how do we know they didn't? I mean,
well, it's on the basis of the claim that they did that all kinds of things happen. People are displaced. There's a money flow. I mean, it's a big question. A lot hangs on this. It's not some theoretical thing like, oh, you know, did my grandparents do this or do that? It's like, no, we have a right to be here because my ancestors were here. Okay, how do we know they were here?
Look at it.
I'm totally unable to process what you're trying
You can't process that? Y'all heard that? He can't process that. He unable to process it. Man, Yahweh ben Yahweh came making claim. That was the whole message. And when their time up, he said they can't stay there.
Here we go. Master teachers are real. Yahweh was one of them. He also wasn't the only one who was crucified. The difference is Yahweh completed his assignment, and that's his story impacted the world like it did. This is also why the elites have to go hard in the paint behind the scenes to try to keep things concealed.
That's right, sister.
The people. Food has been tampered. It's created labs. A lot of food is why people stay sick and our bodies inflamed. Pharmaceutical companies are rich. The Holy Book is taught you we are already living in hell. The second coming of Christ is already upon you. You can feel it in your cells. No one is coming to save you. You must do the inner work yourself. Yahweh and many others tried to tell you, but the elites kept casting sleeping spells. Come on over to this side of the light. I have plenty more to tell.
Praise Yahweh, sister.
beast mind. There's a lot of cats and dogs playing these beasts. So 7 heads, see, they also include black devils. The black devil. Black devil is twice as bad as the white boy. It's hard to imagine the book. Once he converted a black devil boy, he got himself. He got himself a power you can't imagine. That sucker is awesome. Face the facts. So now, black meaning includes action. The action of people.
Any contemptuous or profane act, utterance.
Now, utterance, talk. Profane act. Give me profane. I want my head straight. I want to know what a profane act and a profane utterance is. All you scholars don't mind if I catch up with you, do you? You want to just, if you just want to read something chapter 12, you don't need to sit in here. But if we're going to understand this, we got to take a look at what this means. So you who don't want to understand, praise Yahweh, but I really appreciate you scholars. Let me get a profane.
Profane, showing contempt or irreverence toward God.
Hold it. Here we come again. You walk through some of these complexes and see if they show reverence or irreverence. The MS. How many have experienced these devils? These black devils. How many weekends did you experience? Profane irreverence toward God, Yahweh, the Creator. They don't hear nobody coming and talking about no kind of God. They're so wicked, they don't want to hear about a false God.
See, y'all
They don't care.
had
They
all
don't want to hear
these
nothing about no God.
issues he had to straighten out.
How many know all right?
Yes, sir.
They'll run one of those holiness preachers out of there. Let me talk about you sanctified. You better get your drum and tambourine and get out of here.
They was flocking in there by the droves.
You sanctified whore. They are rough.
Trying to cling on to Yahweh ben Yahweh.
I don't dare repeat what you heard.
And their hearts with me.
I'm embarrassed. I'm too modest to repeat what I know you hear out there on the meeting. I'm ashamed to say what those beast-minded black devils have to say.
He ashamed. I gotta go get a testimony now. I got some very, very heavy stuff now. I don't know. We're gonna have to deal with this. We're gonna have to deal with this. We're gonna just open up a can of worms tonight. I'm gonna tap into it a little bit, but give me 1 second. Because I think this is very, very, it's time to talk about this. Let me see, that's that. Yeah, go right here. Let's start with this.
should be again. In 2007, after the death of Yahweh Ben Yahweh, some within the structure of the nation, some former followers, former elders, took this Negro and built him up, put him out there, called himself Yahweh Ben Yahweh Ben Yahweh, saying he had the spirit of Yahweh, he was the incarnated spirit. And I ripped into him. I ripped into an idea. As Amory Dan, I mean, here it is. Yahweh Ben Yahweh could have been tried by himself. Ellis Reuben wanted Yahweh Ben Yahweh to be tried by himself. But, the word said the good shepherd laid down his life for his sheep. And so, I'm not going to say a rift came between Yahweh Ben Yahweh and Ellis Reuben, but somehow someone was able to convince Yahweh Ben Yahweh to be tried with everyone else. And, he said that if he was tried by himself as an individual, he would have been found not guilty. But, these characters, some of them proved that they were not his sheep. Because they went and built this molten calf and caused somebody to follow behind that. It is the former disciples and followers that made him. Okay. I understand the ignorant minds out there who are following behind that. But, again, I ripped into him. And I told you then, is there any righteous brothers left? Stop sitting on the fence and get up and take our nation back. Take our nation back from these parasites. But you didn't listen. You justified him. Oh, he's doing Yahweh's will. He's spreading the name. You idiots. That is not doing Yahweh's will. It's a blessing to know Yahweh's will, but it's a greater blessing to do his will. And that's not doing his will. Y'all just sat back. And now look at the nation of Yahweh. I mean, it's chaotic. It's overrun with parasites and pests. If you don't get rid of pests right away, they're going to breed and breed more pests.
And that's what happened.
And eventually your house will be overrun. I've seen this back in the day. I've seen apartments, man. People have to abandon the apartment because of infestation. All the rain in the world didn't help. Y'all used to talk about that. You used to teach about it. Eventually the roaches get immune to raid. You understand? I've been telling you this since 2007. But you didn't take heed. You justify these people. When I came to the knowledge of Yahweh, I left something very precious behind to come and serve Yahweh. But I knew that the day would come when I would be justified. I knew that I was making a choice for the future. So what I did for her and I did for me. Her means all that came from her and all that is attached to her. Me means all that came from me. For the children that came afterwards and all theirs, I did it for them. And those of you, brothers and sisters, who are among the called, the one who came and humbled yourself to Yahweh Ben Yahweh, you made personal sacrifices too. And you knew it was not about today, huh? It was not about that day. It was not about then, but it's about today. It's about the future. Yahweh Ben Yahweh raised us up and he put a lot in us and conditioned us. He prepared us. He prepared me, made me hard as steel for what's coming. I was built and made for what's coming. So were you. If you have not read the book, you're not a nigga, our history best, world's best, Yahweh God's of gods, and Yahweh judges America mind. Yahweh Ben Yahweh said that's the book that will keep you alive. Rex 84, King Alfred and the Choice, detail to you what is going on now and what's going to happen in the future. This existed long before Donald was ever president. It's not about him. These plans have been in place, he told us, since the days of J. Edgar Hoover. He's just the figurehead, the one that's in charge now. Huh? He didn't create that. It was already created and set it there. But now it's in motion. He warned us of these things. And those of you who cast the name out as evil, lied on him, testified against him, bear false witness against him, beat him down, beat down character, castigated his name as evil, thrown in prison, your day's coming. You know why?
Yes, it is.
The word tells us Yahweh will visit.
See, them days coming, they here. Just to show us these type of messages is getting out there that you tried to hide and didn't want to be talked about. That's what we're here to talk about. we're going to be talking about these messages. And I know a lot of people ain't going to like it. And these the issues that got to be dealt with. If you want to rebuild a nation, if you want some restoration, you still got cobwebs of tentacles of the Judas family still within the nation of Yahweh. And they got to be weeded out. And that's the problem. They thought they were going to be able to get away with the things that they're doing because Yahweh Ben Yahweh was incarcerated and locked up. But oh no, because he had some watching. He had some sitting around watching, paying attention, inculcating everything that was going on. You understand? So it's time to answer these questions. A lot of questions too. And one of the questions is, why did y'all change Yahweh Ben Yahweh's teachings? You're changing the foundation of Yahweh Ben Yahweh's teachings. You're switching stuff up. So you have a man like Sharibia that come on the scene that had testimony. The one that used to go down there and fight for Yahweh Ben Yahweh. To get Yahweh Ben Yahweh out. Got plenty of testimony from him, and we're going to be reacting to all these testimonies. And I know y'all going to be watching. Yahweh going to make sure you watch. He also say you shall not taste death until y'all finish seeing his works resurrecting. That's right. You know, the little group that when it went down, you got scared and you went your own separate ways. You left him. You started denying him like Peter. I wasn't one of them. I wasn't with him because you were scared you was going to get indicted. But then when you start seeing people like I, myself, and the rest of my brothers that's waking up through the Ruach, through the spirit of Yahweh Ben Yahweh, not sitting in the temple with him every day, but through the Ruach, through his spirit resting on us, we able to come back and tell it like it is. And that's what we're going to do. And this ain't no hate message, this love, because I ain't got nothing but love for you. I want unity. Will there ever be unity? I don't know. First thing we're going to have to do, though, is get rid of the rest of that Judas family that's hanging around, trying to watch and see who's doing what and who's doing what. Sneaking in the comment sections. Hiding behind the comment section, making their little comments. But praise Yahweh. What you had to say, Brother Shavili?
On the children, onto the third and fourth generation of them that hate him. You didn't think about it when you did it, right? You thought it would be over. So now your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will be standing outside looking in. You thought this was about slavery? No. How many generations have gone since then? It's way more than 4 generations. So it's not about that. It's about you who hated him.
That's what it's about.
Y'all been a laughing stock and a mockery. Put him as an open shame to the world. And that's what's going to happen to you. As a man soweth it, so shall he reap. What goes around comes around. Your family, your friends that you have made out are going to despise you. They're going to hate you. They're going to say, you had a chance. We had a chance for salvation, hope, because you were there with him and you turned against him. And they're going to hate you.
Stop right there. See, you turned against him. And nobody have to say no name because you know who you are out there if you turned your back on Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You need to repent while you still got a little bit of time left. And notice I said a little bit of time left. You ain't got that much time left. Like you said, stick your hand out. Put your hand out as far as you can get it. That's how short a little bit of time you need to hurry up and get it right. Yahweh Ben Yahweh said, it's a whole world out there that ain't hear his message. They never had a chance to hear his message. They didn't have a chance to hear what you heard while you were sitting in that temple, going to the feast with him, following him around. There's a whole world out there that didn't have that chance. But the ones that had a chance to hear his message, to be up under him, and I'm not talking about everybody, because it is some faithful brothers and sisters that's in the nation. And I see you, and I love you, and I praise Yahweh for you. And I will hope to one day soon meet you. But it's that other group in there that will not allow Yahweh's nation of Yahweh to rise like it's supposed to rise. And they want to blame it all on the government. Mm-mm. It ain't that. Yahweh ben Yahweh already showed you what needed to be done. And because he couldn't hardly talk, he was behind bars, and y'all was forwarding his letters and things that he was getting. He couldn't get his mail and stuff like that from certain people who was trying to get in touch with him because y'all was in the background stealing and moving furniture around. Praise Yahweh.
You can be despised.
Man, I took care of you.
You know, in that 1984, Yahweh also talks about what black must buy silver and gold. He said, by the time you wake up, you see, the value of silver and gold is either going to be too expensive to afford or not available. See, I'm not concerned about it because I've, stored up treasures in heaven. Yes, I have. If you have not stored up treasures in heaven, you better try and get some before it's too late. In Egypt, when the money failed on the silver and gold were allowed, unless you had something to trade or barter. It's getting rough. The world don't know what Yahweh taught us. Remember, he used to tell us, you go Yahweh, I go my way. Well, Yahweh was teaching us and preparing us for what's going on today and what's to come. We are to be the hope for our people. The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are safe. They're not going to have time to walk. They will only be able to run. But just saying Yahweh and putting the name out there is not enough. Thou believest in the one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. Brothers, wake up. Straighten those feeble knees, the weak hands, and get ready for what's coming. That's what you were chosen to do. That's what you were called to do. Don't forget. And as far as this Yeshurun ben Yahweh, as he calls himself, child that was born in the nation, you were on speaking evil for Yahweh ben Yahweh. You're talking about a deceiver that he lied. Yet you name yourself after him. You suffer behind. Your needs to take and you. She's running around trying to be queen bee. But I've not heard her publicly say anything about. She may say privately, but she needs to discipline you publicly, because you're publicly speaking negativity and disgrace against Yahweh ben Yahweh. Stop using the name and going about your life. If he's a liar and a deceiver. Glory. Shalom, shalom.
Praise Yahweh. Hey.
The house of Shribia. The house of Shribia is simply a wing to the house of Yahweh. Only one door separates it. And I stand guard at that door. Glory to Yahweh. I took a little time to meditate. First, I was going to do like Jephthah's daughter. Just go up and down the mountain with my friends. But it wasn't in me. So I just decided, to just meditate before I dedicate myself totally. Everything that I've done because just out of duty and faithfulness to Yahweh ben Yahweh. Let me take my time here because, okay.
Take your time, Elder. Take your time.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh once told us that he was going to follow the script up to a certain point, and then he was going to change it. And according to the script, he was supposed to die on the cross, executed by the system. And as you know, they tried him in the state court, but he was found not guilty. He was seeking the death penalty. But in the federal trial, we see that, he was found guilty. And while he was on the cross, according to the script, they said, if you be the Son of God, take thyself down from the cross, remove thyself, and we'll believe you. It wasn't for him to remove himself from the cross. It was for us. It was our responsibility. He taught us for so many years, I think 11 years. Okay? Hundreds, thousands of us.
What are you going to do when the enemy come from it? Fight?
18.
Or are you going to let him have me? Remember Yahweh Ben Yahweh say that? What are you going to do when the enemy come for me this time? Are you going to let him have me? Or are you going to stand up and righteously fight for me? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because we still here. We rising up and we still fighting for him. The ones that's waking up right now, we ready. We ready to righteously fight for his truth. What he stood for, what he stand for. Righteousness. Morality. Freedom. Sovereignty. All that good stuff.
Next.
Go ahead, Elder.
So we're to bear into the I was least of that group. So it was our responsibility to find a way to take him down from the cross. Well, I did. Biblically, he died an undignified death because while he was on the cross, and he was thirsty, he wanted something to drink to relieve his soul. And what happened? They gave him vinegar mixed with gall. And they mocked him. And eventually what happened? He said, Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? And he yielded up the ghost. Died undignified. But when I sent the attorney to him, a press conference was held. And he said, I want to be free so that I can die with you. I worked and labored, and so did the attorneys. And he was freed. But she called it compassionate release. Because I was one begging and pleading for mercy and compassion for him before I went to them. I went to them after the Justice Department told me it's not their responsibility to help private citizens and would take no action. But I didn't give. I did not give in. I didn't give up and found a way. So he died a dignified death. That is powerful, people. Very powerful. When you look around today and you see what's going on, I'm sure those who mocked him, those who came against him, they weren't. When Yahweh told us about Rex 84, King Alfred under choice, America, all the concentration camps of blacks, you can see what's going on. It's happening. It is happening. This is a time when, man, if only Yahweh Ben Yahweh was with us. The knowledge he would reveal, the things he would teach. But not having him with us, there is a little sense of nervousness. It really is. Just a little nervousness. But he taught us these things so that we can be aware and not get caught up. We don't protest, don't demonstrate, we don't riot. Don't get caught up in that. I supported President Bush when he ran. I went to rally and was holding up Bush chase signs before office. All right, I was holding it up, and I did it because at the time I was for Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Freedom is exoneration, not a pardon, but is exoneration. I supported Donald Trump for the same reason. Because I still want Yahweh Ben Yahweh exonerated because he's innocent. A pardon, that's like saying, no, we forgive you. No. It's innocent. And I look at Donald Trump as the modern day Nebuchadnezzar. The modern day Nebuchadnezzar. That's how I see him. And if he has become a beast, guess what? God made
Pharaoh,
him into that.
Nebuchadnezzar,
What the people do, that's on them. But you, Israel, don't
a
fuck with him.
hero.
You know, some black folk love Donald Trump. But the Democrats love him. But as soon as he decided to run for office against Clinton and as a Republican, all of a sudden, he's a beast. He's racist. The same man some of these entertainers, black entertainers, are hanging out with. Rappers making songs, be like Donald Trump. But now the scriptures tell you that Nebuchadnezzar was driven out from among men until 7 times. That's over him. Some say it's 7. I'll say it's 7 circumstances. And if you look, there were 7 trying circumstances from Russia, impeachment trials, and eventually he became a beast. If you think he's such a beast and a monster, why not try and befriend him? That's all I'm saying. We are a peculiar people, Israel. Peculiar means to be granted exemptions. From what? There's something that we'll be granted exemption from. Because what's going on around the world. You have no power to stop that. Yahweh is your focus. He's my focus. I do what I do for my family and I, for the house of Sharibia, for Yahweh. Bless up to the true believers. This will be continued. Lord, you, Yahweh. Shalom.
Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. I ain't gonna go too much more into that because I got a lot more to go into. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about.